Aha! Oh no, Dawn is on time. Well, we're 3-4 minutes late, but here we are. As my mom would say, or my grandma, it's just us chickens. So welcome to the Don Lemon Show. Welcome to Lemon Live at 5. And pretty much on time today. On brand. We're on brand. Thank you so much for joining us. We have a very big show. And hit the like and the thumbs up. It affects the algorithm. More people become aware of our conversation and our channel. With that said, boy, oh boy, oh boy, we have a story that we want to talk to you about that we're working on. I'm just going to just a little bit tell you. Y'all have seen that, and I shouldn't be talking about this, the bonnet story. Should you be wearing bonnets to class and do-rags? Woo! Sparked a little debate here on the show. So we'll be talking about that. I don't know if we'll talk about it today, but let me know what you think in the comments if you guys want to talk about it. But if you want to have a discussion, welcome to the show. I want to talk about this new audio that is out there from, there's an audio person who has enhanced this audio, and it has, everyone is up in a stir about it. And so we want to see, her name is Janetta Brantley, and she isolated the video. She's explaining how she isolated it, and then we're going to bring in some folks to discuss it. Our very own correspondent, Daniel Grimes, and then we're going to bring in Charles Latibeaudiere from TMZ to talk about it, okay? So here she is in her own words explaining it, and then you're going to hear the audio.
Okay, so before I play this, I want to quickly explain what I did, what you're looking at on the screen, and why I chose to approach this audio the way that I did. As a professional audio engineer with experience in dialogue editing, dialogue cleanup, sound design, and post-production, I decided to work on that C-toe call using traditional audio processing techniques rather than relying on any AI voice separation or AI enhancement. My goal was pretty much to preserve as much of the original recording as possible while making the quieter dialogue and background audio easier to hear. So I basically used techniques such as subtractive EQ, compression, gain adjustments, noise reduction, frequency isolation, and other traditional processing methods. So what I did was I separated Vicky, the C-toe dispatcher, from Warren and the audio originating from the boat so that I can concentrate more closely on what was happening behind and around Warren, pretty much on the boat. And I specifically chose not to rely on AI because aggressive AI enhancements and voice isolation tools can sometimes introduce artifacts and distort the speech or create ambiguity around the sounds that were originally present. And for something this serious, I wanted my processing to remain as conservative as possible. You'll also notice time code and dialogue written on the side of the screen and pop up during each segment. That dialogue represents what I personally hear as an audio engineer while processing and repeatedly reviewing these sections. I'm pretty much providing it as a listening reference, not as a declaration that my interpretation is the only possible interpretation. And that's important. I want you to listen for yourself, use headphones if you have them, listen closely, and decide with your own ears what you believe is being said. You can also return to the original unprocessed recording and compare directly with what you're hearing here. You'll also notice that my time code may not match the regular timestamp on the original uploaded video. And that's because I'm working inside a professional post-production timeline, a digital audio workstation, basically using SMPTE time code, which in film that's displayed in hours, minutes, seconds, and frames. Film and TV timelines are completely different from timestamps that you see when you're watching regular videos or when you're watching a movie and you hit pause. So basically the time code on the screen is there to identify the precise location within my working session, not to represent the elapsed timestamp displayed by the original video player. And I hope that makes sense. For this first video, I'm sharing only approximately 37 seconds of the call. I originally intended to continue much further, but once I separated the dispatcher from the boat and started concentrating exclusively on the background dialogue, what I believed I was hearing became extremely difficult for me to process emotionally, and I needed to take a mental break. But I wanted to release this portion because some of the details that stood out most to me occur very early in the call, like right at the top of the call. And so I'm gonna let the audio play. Read my transcription if you want to reference, but don't allow it to determine what you hear. I want you to listen first, listen again, compare it with the original recording, and then judge it with your own ears. I hope this breakdown helps. And my
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership. Hey, up! Shut the fuck up!
Okay. So there you have it. Let's put up the transcription, Andy. Daniel Grimes is our Washington, D.C. correspondent. I want to bring him in to discuss this, and then we'll bring Charles in a moment. This is sparking outrage and conspiracy theories, and it's explosive new audio and this whole story.
I mean, Don, this clip, I saw that you posted this clip on social. That was my, first introduction to this new part, which was right before the young man started speaking. And what I was able to hear, I chose to just listen before I read the transcript. We talked about this as a team. There's something called confirmation bias. So if you read through that transcript and then listened, you would try to look for the words that were there. And so I just listened myself before reading the transcript. And what I heard was, is he dead? I heard Nolan. And that to me appears to be damning evidence of the friends potentially doing something and being involved. Now, having said that, I am going to also say, listen, again, this was cleaned up audio. We don't really know, because TMZ, they're going to come on here in a second, and I know he's going to repeat what I'm just about to say, is that people said that they saw Nolan on the island after his friends had left. And if that is true, again, we don't know if that's true. If that's true, that would refute everything that this audio says, because again, his friends left. So he's allegedly seen alive by people hours later. Then what we're hearing in the audio isn't what we actually think we're hearing. But if what I heard, which is Nolan and is he dead, and people didn't actually see him later, then I think this would be damning evidence.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Every time we get something, I think it makes there are more questions than answers about this. But however, I'm really bad at these things. I have really good hearing, but I'm like because I'm hearing everything. Now, she didn't necessarily say that she enhanced it. She said she tried to use as few of enhancing methods as she could. Basically, she just separated the tracks. Andy, you're a technical director. Tell us what she did. Yeah.
Well, I think she did more than just separating the tracks, because she talked about how she's a dialogue audio expert and used different techniques to, isolate people's individual voices. So I think there is more to it than like what I did, which is just separate the left channel from the right channel, which was dispatch audio versus the phone call. Yeah.
I mixed up with your thing and what she did. Okay, go on. Sorry. Andy.
Oh, yeah. So
she used
that's about all I have to
mechanisms.
say. Yeah.
Okay. And then you separated the tracks yourself.
Yes. So I could play a version of the audio that I just downloaded from the WLOX YouTube page, and I just turned down the left channel, and the right channel is just the friend's phone call.
Okay. So and it is
anyone can do that at home.
Anyone can do that at home. And it's the same call.
Yes, minus her techniques.
Techniques. And what people let's listen to yours and see what people hear.
All right, so I'm going to start it with both tracks, and then I'll restart it with just the friend's phone call.
Okay. This on hold music is sending me.
I know. Okay, so now I'll redo it minus the left channel, and we'll just hear the friends.
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and
Yeah, I can hear it without the transcript. I can hear it. I'm just listening to it, and I didn't know where the "is he dead" or any of that stuff is coming from. But yeah, I mean, you guys heard that, right? Is he dead?
Yeah.
But who knows what they're talking about?
Well, and again,
Nolan.
At this point, they are calling because their boat is getting water. You know, it's sinking, and so. Yeah, I mean, I will say I heard "is he dead," and I did hear later someone else scream Nolan. So, like I said, I think that if the accounts that TMZ is going to get on here and talk about in a second, because they're the ones that had the anonymous people speak to them, who said that they saw Nolan, I believe, 6 p.m., definitely hours after this audio was released. If those accounts are true, then all of our ears are deceiving us, and Nolan was still alive after his friends left. Now, again, they're anonymous sources. We don't even know. Like TMZ is going to be able to speak to those better than I can. But if they're not true, then that's damning evidence. I mean, that's clearly involved.
Let's listen to the friend describing the boat taking on water, where they left. And now he knew, this is like, he said the boat was taking on water. I'll tell you my explanation, but let's just listen to him. I'll tell you mine.
People say that you guys just left Nolan behind. I've seen reports of people saying that you just left him. I see reports of people saying that you asked him to get on the boat. You told him to get on the boat, he didn't. What's the truth in that?
Well, Wyatt was having boat issues, and the bilge wouldn't pump. So the bilge is basically a pump that releases water from your boat when water comes in. So I opened the back hatch, and there's water up to the batteries. And that is obviously not good. There's water almost coming over the transom, which is where your motors sit, and which is by the stern, like in the back part of the boat. So obviously we were in emergency. The boat, we're trying to save the boat. It's not like we didn't ask Nolan or we just left Nolan. Nolan decided to stay on the island with the girl that he was with. And the girl is a witness to that too.
Yeah.
Okay. So the thing is that the girl is saying no, but there are new folks who are saying, yes, he was there later. You had this new audio. And then the thing, look, I have my theory, but let's talk to Charles first before. Daniel, stand by. We're going to talk to Charles Latibeaudiere from TMZ. Charles, thank you for joining. You guys you spoke to the people, some folks who were saying that they saw him there after that. And then, of course, you guys also had the audio. First of all, what do you think of this audio? Are you hearing what she has here?
I listened to this audio probably 25 times this morning. I listened to it without earbuds. I did it with earbuds. I cranked up the speakers on my desk and slowed it down every which way. There are very few things that are very clear on it. To me, what's clear, someone yells, "Shut the bleep up." It's also very clear when someone says, "Oh my God." The two critical parts, or there were three critical parts. Is he dead? And the actual someone actually saying Nolan, and then the other part being when someone says something about his chest, about checking his chest. Those three things were not nearly as clear to me. They just never were clear. And I think what's happening is that people are having confirmation bias. That if you just listen to it without any words on a screen, without any captions, there's something said, but I don't think any of it, those critical parts, are clear. Now, when you listen to it with and watch it with a caption, Yes. Well, then now your brain is hearing what you're reading. I just don't know that it's clear there. Now, the bigger thing is that call was made after they left the island. Wyatt and Warren and company, there were 5 other people on the boat, according to what Wyatt said to the tow company, a total of 7. That call was made after they had left Horn Island. We know they left Horn Island at 4:30. We know that from GPS data. So that if they're talking about Nolan and about Nolan being dead and checking his chest, if it were true, that means that Nolan was on the boat when they left Horn Island. We've spoken to people with direct knowledge of the investigation. These are not friends that we're talking about, but people with direct knowledge of the investigation who say that the sheriff's department has evidence, don't know if it's video or photo, and that they've also spoken to witnesses who can place Nolan on the island, on Horn Island, after 4:30. So I just don't know how both of those things can be true. If he's still on the island after 4:30, how is he on the boat and they're talking about him being injured or dead on the boat? They just don't add up.
So let me give you a scenario because listening to it, they said we were at I forget what he says, a tip or something of.
He said on the west tip of Horn Island.
West tip of Horn Island. And the guy on the beach is saying they were having boat trouble. So I think they had boat trouble before they left the beach. Like they realized the bilge wasn't working.
Right.
And so I think that they were there. They said they were in 17 feet of water. So 17 feet of water, I'm not sure exactly there. So that's getting away from the beach a little bit. So maybe I'm thinking that they weren't that far away from the beach. And that's when they were yelling at him, not necessarily that he was in the boat, but maybe they left him there and he's like, hey guys, wait for me, and then went in and then something happened. But it doesn't mean that he wasn't, they could be near the beach looking at him, alive or dead.
You can't tell.
Yeah, you can't tell from that. So I don't know, but Charles, I heard, is he dead? Without even the transcript. I heard that, and then there was another thing that I heard. There was one other thing without the transcript that I heard as well.
Nolan?
No, Nolan wasn't so clear to me, I believe. But Charles, can we listen to it with you? Can you listen?
Yeah, please, I'd love to. Yeah.
Close your eyes, and then let's everybody listen. All right.
Hey, we're at the west tip of
So
Horn.
I heard, can you cover it up? Is he dead? Now, I don't know if they're saying Nolan or whatever. I did hear that. I mean, and I don't know if that's confirmation.
Yeah.
What did you guys hear? Let me know. And look, Charles, let me just make this clear. We're speculating here. We're listening. And my question for you is, has this been authenticated or corroborated in any way by any official?
We have not heard that from the Sheriff's Department. But to be honest, also the Sheriff's Department isn't saying a lot about the investigation, that they seem to be very tight-lipped at this point. And I think that's because and maybe it's already convened, but that they're expected to convene a grand jury to conduct further investigation into this. Yeah. So I don't know. It has not been confirmed by anyone. Everybody is listening to it though and forming their own opinions, and so that's what's out there more than anything. Because if the police aren't talking, everybody who's watching this case will be talking, and that's what sets the narrative until you hear anything from the police.
Okay. Go ahead, Daniel, if you have a question.
Yeah, I mean, to that point, I called the sheriff's office 3 times, and then I called the direct line specifically 3 times, so 6 times in total. And the numbers either kept ringing or went to voicemail. Nobody even picked up, which before I left for vacation, they were at least picking up saying, hey, yeah, we'll get back to you. He's in a meeting. But I talked to Don in our meeting. I said, Don, have you tried calling? Like, what is this? And Don said, yeah, I mean, they're just not talking. So I probably, to your point, they probably want to wait until the grand jury happens. But, as for the confirmation bias, I brought that up. And, I've been one listen, the people have been coming for me for being a person to say, let's wait for the investigation. Let's hold out. We don't know what happened. And so I feel like for me, if I'm listening to this and I hear Nolan and I hear, is he dead? Again, I just feel like that has to be damning evidence if this is real. Now, again, it's 2026. We all know AI exists. We all know like audio needs to be authenticated. And if this hasn't been authenticated, then I don't know. And we also, listen, as I said before you hopped on here, Charles, that TMZ, you all have people who are close to this investigation who saw him and believe that there's either video or audio or something, the photo that shows he was alive after they left, which if that's true, then our ears are deceiving us.
Yeah, the one thing I will say is,
ahead,
like,
Charles.
if someone actually did say the name Nolan on the boat, if that is true, that goes against every narrative that Warren and any of the other friends have said, because why would they be talking about Nolan? He said that once they left the island, they weren't thinking about Nolan anymore because they were dealing with the crisis of the boat. So that would be weird if that what we're hearing is someone saying Nolan. And the part about is he dead I think it's just a theory, don't know because I'm not on the boat, but what we're hearing is them saying, is it dead? Meaning the pump or the motor, because they couldn't get the motor started for a while. And you heard him describing how the water was coming over. That could be a reference.
I don't know if it was the motor or they couldn't get the bilge pump.
The pump, yeah.
Right. But they also couldn't, there was a part where they couldn't
motor?
start the motors because there was so much, and that's why that's why they were calling the tow company, because they couldn't start the motors. They were just there taking on water.
Okay. Charles, this is another story. And when you said that would be completely antithetical to anything that you have heard, this is also a TMZ story. Evidence shows he was on island when friend's boat left. And that's the exclusive. Talk to us about this exclusive, Charles, please.
So that's what we were just referring to, the fact that we were told by multiple sources, not connected to law enforcement, who said, well, from what we've heard, the police have spoken to people who put him there after 4:30. And in fact, I think in one of the podcasts with Officer Tatum, Warren says
we don't really mention his name on the show, but go on.
Yeah, I get your point. Warren says he'd heard that there were people who saw Nolan on the island at 6 o'clock. I don't know about the specific of 6 o'clock, but when we were checking what people around town were telling us, and again, someone directly connected to the investigation said to us that that is correct, that we have spoken to people and also seen evidence of Nolan being on the island after 4:30. We did not get the specific of 6 o'clock that Warren mentioned in that interview.
All right, Charles.
Well,
what you think?
Charles,
I know.
But Charles, I'm sure Charles has to run. He's got to do some other shit.
I got time for one more.
You got a little time? Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Because the other kind of mystery here is the girlfriend, right? And I know TMZ did some reporting around her because there's some discrepancies there. She's saying, the friends are saying, listen, he was with this alleged girl. She's saying, wait, no, he was on the boat. So what's that all about?
Yeah, that is a huge discrepancy that she told, according to Nolan's mom, she made it sound like, oh, it was just sort of a high and by thing. Yes, I saw him that day, but it was sort of high and by. But what we've heard Warren say is that they were basically hanging out all day together. So that part is weird. I've always said that I think the two main things that we need to get some clarity here. One, the autopsy results. And then also someone or someone's to talk about where they saw Nolan. Obviously, there were so many people there. Somebody saw Nolan after 4:30, and it's sort of like, who's the last person to see him? And the fact that we're not hearing from those people is what is creating this suspicion. That's the main thing that's creating suspicion, because everyone's going, how would people not have seen Nolan Wells amongst a group of partiers, several dozen people, and he's, one of a handful maybe of black people out there. Just doesn't feel, that's the part that makes everybody suspicious, because it feels like at this point they're saying nobody saw anything.
Yeah, and look, we were thinking 4 PM. Like, I was thinking originally, I'm like, okay, well, they didn't see him. The boat pulled away. It was dusk or whatever. But, I mean, 4 o'clock, this bright. I mean,
No,
it is.
And very bright. The sun's not setting until, almost 8 o'clock. So
8 o'clock. Wow. So, Charles, what you think? Look, Charles, Daniel's our correspondent. He's been gone for a week.
Yeah.
And when he left, this story we thought it was at its height. It keeps growing and growing and growing. I don't understand. Well, I can't understand, because people are filling the void, and I'm wondering why law enforcement is being so tight-lipped, because they could just knock down some of the things that are wrong or something, have a better cadence about providing information. But wow, this is taking on a life of its own.
This is reminding me very much of the Brian Kohberger case, where you had a lot of theories, you had a lot of anger because law enforcement was not being forthcoming. You had a lot of people saying, well, law enforcement is screwing up this case. I can't believe that they're not going to be able to find the killer. But they were just doing their due diligence, and they were doing their investigation without sharing every step of the way. And what happens in the meantime is the public gets angry. The public starts coming up with their own theories. The public starts listening to audio and maybe hearing things that aren't there, or maybe they are there. But all of that's going to happen. And I'd imagine if the sheriff's department is just going, we're not going to respond to any of it. Let's just do our investigation and make sure that, we are buttoned up and that we're not screwing anything up here. You hope that's what's happening. But again, because it's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger until either the autopsy results come back, or you have more people coming forward and speaking publicly. I don't know this for a fact. I'm just going to guess here that law enforcement is speaking to people who are on the island, but they're also saying to them, please don't go out and do interviews, because it's only going to make our job harder. Maybe, because I can't believe that nobody saw anything, and for some reason they're not coming forward and talking about it.
It was July 4th weekend. It was, in that aforementioned interview you talked about, his friends, both of them said there were, in their estimate, thousands of people there. So somebody saw something.
Yeah. Somebody saw something. And look, how long, you guys were on the Matthew Perry case. How long did it take to get that autopsy? I mean, a year?
You know what? They actually, no, it wasn't that long. And they kind of moved that one along quickly. That's the thing. I have seen, and I can't speak to the medical examiner's office in Ocean Springs, Mississippi, but when they need to, I have seen here in LA at least, where they can get results, including toxicology, within a month. But I don't know what's going to happen down in Mississippi. It can happen that quickly, but it can also take as long as 2 months. So it is a painful waiting game, especially for Nolan's family. I mean, obviously there are millions of people around the country who feel very invested in this, but at the heart of it, it's Nolan's family, and they don't have answers. Another week going by, and they still don't know.
Yeah, they said, I thought it was a year, but they said to determine the official cause of death for Matthew Perry took nearly 7 weeks. The final results released by Los Angeles County was in December of 2023. I don't even remember when he died, but wow.
Yeah, it was.
I'm just using him as the most
November
recent
or something.
thing.
Yeah.
All right, Charles.
So they can.
Thank you,
so
sir.
We'll see.
Yeah,
all right.
Charles, we appreciate you always joining us. You guys are doing a great job over there of getting information. Look, you got the folks in the comments section all stirred up. They're like, I love Charles. He's full of shit. I love it. You got both.
Yeah, it's always a mixture of that.
Welcome, Charles.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. Thank you. Daniel, I want you to stand by for a minute, and we're going to bring in Pastor Mike in just moments. Pastor Mike, if you're standing by, a little bit late to you, my apologies, sir. We're going to talk to Pastor Mike about what we make up for this. But in the meantime, we're in what I call the news lounge now. We're in the news lounge, and we're gonna take a break. We're gonna get a word from our sponsors, and then, we'll be right back with you. But first, a word from our sponsors.
You ever look around at the way the world works and you think, now, who designed this mess? People work harder, they pay more, they earn less, and somehow get blamed when the system doesn't work for them. That's what George Koch examines in Bullies, Parasites, and Slaves, Replacing Exploitation with Mutual Care. And yes, that title gets right to the point. Koch is a former technology executive who uses history, facts, and real stories to explain how exploitation became so normal that many of us barely notice it anymore. What I like about the book is that it doesn't just complain, it offers an alternative. His argument is that when you build systems around meeting the needs we all share, everybody has a better chance to thrive. You can read it in paperback, digitally, or you can listen to it on audiobook. And if you genuinely cannot afford it, you can get it free. Go to bps.online or text BULLY to 511. That's BULLY to 511-511. Text fees may apply.
And thank you so much to our sponsors. Our sponsors do keep us powered here on the Don Lemon Show, and we're so glad that you are a part of the show right now. So thanks for joining us. Listen, this is a big story that we were talking about. This story keeps gaining in intrigue and mystery and all of the things above. What do we do with this? What do we do with this? What does this mean for us as people? What is next for this? Is this productive for the family? All kinds of questions. Pastor Mike McBride is back with us. He's here, joined us a little while ago to talk about this story. Thank you. He's the founder and executive director of Live Free USA and the co-founder and executive director of Black Church PAC and the Black Church Freedom Fund. Hi, Pastor Mike. Thank you, sir, for joining us. You doing okay?
Yeah, man. Great to be with you, Don, one more time.
Yeah. So even since we last spoke, Pastor, this story has gained even more attention, more momentum, taking on just a whole realm of its own.
Yes, it has. And our condolences and prayers continue to go out to the Wells family. We've done a lot of work with local families and families across the country. And what people, I think, have to always remember is this is someone's child. And they're not a hot potato. Although this case often gets politicized and perhaps sometimes rightly so, this is still a mother who has lost their child. This is a father who has lost their child. And for the community directly, this is a community that perhaps feels quite split on how do you move forward without, creating undue divisions when you have to reckon with perhaps there needs to be some divisions, right? And so this is a very, very complex situation, but yet it's still very simple. There needs to be a full investigation that is transparent, that gets to the bottom of what happened, and it needs to continue to happen in the full light of day. It can't be something that is piecemeal together because there are too many eyes on it. It is too many families involved, and obviously this is a mother and a father who have lost their child.
When you are watching this and you're listening today to the audio, did you listen to that audio, Pastor?
I did.
What did you think, sir?
Well, it made me think a few things, right? It made me think, why did particular parties come out and try to tell us something that feels very different from what we heard, that they were not all together there as it appears we heard it on the audio. It also, makes me feel like some folks are trying to get ahead of this and shape some public opinion prematurely. I'm not going to call anybody a liar, but my dad used to tell me when I get caught in a little bit of a fib, he said, don't nobody have any problem with the truth unless, don't nobody have a problem with a lie unless that you're afraid of the consequences of the truth. And I think we have to continue to push for the truth, no matter where all of this lands. And we have to, again, ask for all of the evidence to quickly be gathered so people can come to a path, a straight path, as straight of a path as possible to the truth, and not these curvy, windy roads that, as your previous speakers and guests said, make people start to develop their own theory of what happened, which gets us further and further away from the truth, which the family deserves.
Yeah, and but can you be a little bit more explain? Can you explain a little bit more though when you said that people are trying to get ahead of the story? Are you talking about friends or so-called friends or law enforcement?
Yeah, well, according to the video, it seems like they report that everybody is there on the boat with them together. And then, you start to hear different kinds of stories about Nolan stayed behind and he was left behind. And I believe one of the mother of one of the young men or the folks in the delegation there was claiming, a very different kind of narrative and a story, right? And so I just think it's really, really important for everyone involved to just speak plainly what the truth is, right? If it's true, then all of the evidence should line up with what is true. If it's not true, then folks should either speak less and wait for the truth to come out. But there seems to be these gaps that are allowing folks to put their finger on the scale of what they hope or they want the narrative to be. And that is a particularly damaging way forward, again, for family members who are trying to get to the bottom of what's happened to their child, and all of us who are watching across the country who feel some resonance with this case. I mean, it's really important to acknowledge that one of our Live Free Illinois chapters put out a report about unsolved homicides that are happening, particularly in Chicago, but all across the country. Most people don't realize that less than 50% of Black folks murdered in this country, their cases are not solved. And when you juxtapose that with our white counterparts, it can get as high as 70%. So if a Black person dies in this country via homicide, it is a coin flip that the family will ever get a resolution of justice. That kind of disparity is, again, another expression that Black people's lives in this country under this current system cannot seem to deliver justice, accountability, and answers. The stake we all have in this case, beyond just the humanity point, beyond the empathy point, it is a matter of justice. Does the life of a Black boy, a Black man, a Black woman, a Black person in this country, do they have equal protection under the law? And if they don't, it ought to outrage all of us. This case is a microcosm and perhaps even a larger point to this question that is resonating with so many people subconsciously and for sure consciously.
Do you talk to people about this? Like, do people ask you as a member of the clergy, like, because people come on here, Pastor, and they're like, this was so rough for me. It was so dark. It really touched me. I had to take a break. It's interesting how this has caught the attention. And I'm wondering if people talk to you about it.
Absolutely. I mean, I've had dozens of conversations that run the gamut. I think we have families in our congregation, in our network, whose children have died and they've never gotten justice. This awakens trauma for that. We know people who are very much afraid of their children being in spaces where they are the only Black person. And they're now wondering, should I let my child go play here? Should I let my child go on this trip here? We have people who live in the South who are constantly trying to figure out, is it safe for our children to be subjected to a process that continues to show us, we would say intentionally, some would say perhaps unintentionally, but nevertheless the result is the same, that our lives are not protected. People are sad, people are angry, people are frustrated. I definitely know folks who are coming to their own conclusions based off of their own life experience. And this is why this case is so important. We cannot ignore the lived experience and reality of people who come from the South, who may not live there, but have the vestiges and the scars of Black denigration and erasure flowing through our bones. This case is a very hot topic for so many folks. And obviously, the racial factor makes it even more compelling, particularly on the backs of Carmelo Anthony. I mean, we saw how fast folks came to a conclusion on that. And it seemed like, people were willing to, charge this young man as being guilty, right? And so there's all kinds of ways this thing is slicing, which is why we must continue, particularly as faith leaders, people of moral good and will. We must call for a transparent investigation. Every part of the evidence to be examined and done in the light of day. And we must continue to make sure that people do not put their thumb on the scale to try to make folks feel certain parties are exonerated before all the investigation is completely done.
Pastor, my goodness. that was a whole sermon right there, Pastor. Seriously, and we needed to hear that. Pastor Mike McBride, founder and executive director of Live Free USA and co-founder and executive director of Black Church PAC and the Black Church Freedom Fund. Thank you. Will you join us again, please, sometimes?
Oh, anytime, Don, and thanks for having me on, and prayers to the family. We love our loved ones in Mississippi. Our hearts are with you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it, Pastor. We're going to take a moment, and then we'll take a word from our sponsors.
America has a lot of religions and a lot of people who are not religious at all. So whose beliefs should the government follow? Well, none of them. That's the entire point. We're seeing growing efforts to blur the line between religion and government in public schools, federal policy, and public life. But once government starts choosing a religion or choosing religion over non-religion, somebody's freedom is going to lose. America recently celebrated 250 years since declaring independence from kings and divine rule, and religious freedom has always included two rights, the right to believe and the right not to believe. That's why the Freedom from Religion Foundation works to keep state and church separate. FFRF stands up for free thinkers, atheists, agnostics, humanists, religious minorities, and anybody who believes government should answer to the people, not to the church. Visit ffrf.us/Don or text Don to 511-511 to join or find out more. That's Don to 511-511 because the First Amendment belongs to everybody. Everybody's talking about those weight loss injections, right? The results can be dramatic. But for some people, the thought of giving themselves a shot every single week is enough to make them lose their appetite before the medicine even gets involved. And then there are the possible side effects, right? So what about people who want help losing weight but are not interested in injections? What about that? That's why doctors created Lean. Lean is a weight loss supplement. It's made with studied ingredients that have been shown to help lower blood sugar, support fat burning by converting it into energy, and help curb appetite and cravings. But Lean is not designed for somebody trying to lose like 2 or 3 pounds before the weekend. The doctors at Brickhouse Nutrition created it for frustrated dieters looking to lose 10 pounds or more, along with a healthy diet and regular exercise. And right now, you can get 20% off and free rush shipping. Visit takelean.com and enter the promo code LEMON. That's the promo code LEMON at takelean.com.
We have much more to talk about here on the News Lounge and Lemon Live at 5. Thank you for joining us here. So, welcome back, everybody, and thank you to our sponsors. They do keep us powered. What I want to know is, as we talk about this Nolan Wells story, like when is, Charles said it may take a while for an autopsy. It could take weeks, right? Some folks said it could take months. It could take quite a long time. That is not going to help the situation. But there's also a mystery involving someone else that we need to get to our DC correspondent, Daniel Grimes, to discuss. Daniel, welcome back. So this mystery is, where in the world is Mitch McConnell?
Where in the world is Senator McConnell? Now that's a throwback song that I do know, Don. Yeah, I mean, he is still recovering. This is all what his office says, that he's still recovering from a fall, and he's been missing for 6 weeks, and we've only seen 2 photos at pieces of evidence that he is still alive. Now,
Do we have the proof of life? I think it's in the TMZ story, but we have the proof of life. At least that's what they say it is. But go on.
We posted that on our Substack too. So that's the proof of life that they posted.
Lucky Lemon 7 newsletter. That's where that photo, you can get that story. Go ahead.
And so there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there that he has passed away and that Republicans are waiting for that August 3rd deadline. So it complicates matters to fill that seat. Obviously, those are just the online rumors. But again, we just like we talked about with Nolan Wells, when you have this, you're not releasing evidence. I mean, he could really get on there and just release a video that says, hey, I'm recovering. I'm trying to build the strength to get back to office and get back to Washington. But the reason why he released that is that there's an annual picnic that he's been going to for, I want to say 40 years, for a long time in Kentucky that he's going to miss this weekend. And so that's why his office felt the urgency to release that video today, or that photo today.
What do y'all think?
Now,
what do you guys think of Mitch?
I'm not a conspiracy theorist, so I do think he is alive, but I don't know. What do you think, Don?
Wait, let me tell you what I think. Hold on.
And this is going to be a good chat in our members only.
Did you hear that? Did you guys hear that? No.
No.
Nobody heard that? Oh,
well. I heard that.
That's what I think, okay?
You think
I know I'm a joker. Did you hear that one? No?
Oh, yeah, the drums. You think he went on to Glory, Don? Well,
I think we're going to find out on August 4th that exactly what happened. They should just call. Oh, go ahead. To me, it doesn't matter. I think they should go ahead and call for the special election because these folks need to know. They need transparency. Kentuckians deserve to have some transparency around the health of the person who represents them, of the representative or their senator. They need to know. And I just don't think it's fair. Look, if he's okay, send somebody into the hospital, prove a life, do a little video, somebody do a little Zoom call, somebody do a little FaceTime, something, because something is not adding up. So even, let's just say he is in the hospital and there's still, is he of sound mind and body? Is he in a condition to represent the people of Kentucky? Obviously not. What is he's missed 80 some votes? He's been in there for a while. It's time to give it up.
And I'll say this, Don. I will say this again. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but in the two photos that have been released, he looks a lot healthier than he did when he was on Capitol Hill. I mean, maybe the daily barrage of stress just did him in, but he would have.
Wait, what?
Oh, yes. I love this story. Yes, he would have two handlers with him, and he could. And this is, listen. If we're all fortunate enough to live to, I believe he's 84, but if we're all fortunate enough to live into our 80s, we don't know what will become of that. But I will just say he would have two handlers with him, and I mean, at times could barely lift his head. So he was pretty feeble every time that I would see him on Capitol Hill. So to see the photos again, Andy, if you could put that photo up of the release today, where he's looking, I would say the healthiest I've seen him. Again, not.
Do you hear what people are saying to you, Daniel? You live in a world of social media filters. That's what they're saying. It's a filter. I don't know if it's a filter or not, but folks are like, filters, Daniel, filters.
Yeah. But can filters make you look that much healthier? I mean, I guess.
Can it make you look that much younger?
Well,
why don't you ask? I ain't gonna be that shady.
Just do it, Don. You can be shady. I'm back. Listen, my first day back. You're allowed to be a little shady.
Why don't you ask Kris Jenner? I'm just saying, because that facelift thing was not what we thought it was. All right. Sorry. That was shady. Okay.
I will just say this, Don, before I go. And listen, if folks want to get in on this conversation, other conversations, we're about to have a members-only chat where you have it's an exclusive tier, but they can chat with us, share their views. Listen, let me have it, let you have it, join in on the conversation. So we're about to do that in a couple of minutes. I'm sure you're going to show folks how.
Can I ask you something? I really like her, but I think her filter game is great. And so this is no shade. Nene.
Nene just got a lot of work done, Don. That is just a good plastic
No,
surgery.
no, it's okay. But no, if you want to get work done, it's fine. No, look, I really like Nene, so I'm just saying. But her filter game is on point.
Oh,
Because, yeah.
yeah.
Come on now. Yeah, she looks good, though. Hey, more power to you, Nene. I'm serious.
You know
No
who else
shade.
is
Every
looking
time I
good?
see you, I love you.
You know who
Huh?
else is looking good? And this is another show. I'm interested to see what people think about this. But you know who else is looking good? Our girl Oprah. I mean, she says she doesn't have any work done. She only does little routines. But I also, when I was away, I saw a chat on Instagram that said Oprah and Gayle are not for the Black community. So I think that would be an interesting show. Tell us in the comments what y'all think about that show. Y'all, you know where I stand.
You're trying to get me. Oprah, you don't mess with Oprah, okay?
I love Oprah and Gayle. I love Oprah and Gayle, but people have been coming for those two, and I don't know why. I grew up on Oprah, so I will defend them. So again, let me know if y'all want to have that discussion because I'll be there. I'm assuming our friend
You don't know. You on social media? Come on now.
You
did not grow up with. What are you? Okay, maybe you did.
I grew up on Oprah. Yeah.
What year were you born?
1990. So she started.
Okay, Oprah had been on TV forever. You didn't grow up on Oprah. I guess you did. Maybe yes. Okay. I remember when the Oprah show went public, 1984, 85. I would sit and watch her on the satellite feed at my house with the big giant TV and the TV. I don't know if you remember this. And the TV, you would turn the TV and the whole satellite in the backyard would turn.
I will say the first episode I remember was sitting at our big TV and there was a white Bronco that she kept replaying. Then the audience stood up and she was really big on that OJ case. And I had no idea what it was about when I was.
Yeah, they were live when that happened.
Yeah, she was live.
They were live.
Later looked back on the footage and I thought, wow, I do remember seeing that live when I was like 4 or 5, but I had no concept for what was actually happening and why people were jumping up and down or sad or, all the emotions surrounding it.
Yeah, 86, 87, I think, somewhere in the 80s. Yeah, I remember that. But anyways, I don't know. Something's good. No. What, when she started?
She started in 86.
Yeah. No. We're talking about two different things. No, but I see the stuff on, I just think that they look, how do I say this? People think that they are not relatable to the culture anymore. That's what they're saying. I'm not saying that I agree with that or I think that, but that's what the criticism is. They're no longer relatable, hanging out with oligarchs and fascists.
You know what? We're gonna save this conversation. I want to see if the people want to have it because I will take some notes to defend Oprah and Gayle. Okay.
I'm not saying this is not me.
I know you.
Have you been to space? You didn't even get that one. Have you been to space?
She just went. Was it she?
That's
Katy
Gayle.
Perry. Yeah. Oh, Gayle. But she even herself said she's not an astronaut. She said multiple, with that criticism, she said, I never pretended to be an astronaut.
Mm-hmm.
And I've met Gayle. She's sweet. Anyhow, yeah.
I know Gayle. Gayle's a friend. I know her. Okay. All right, Daniel.
Oh.
Thank you.
Is that one not the one?
You want that one? Goodbye. Thank you. Now you're informed, everyone. Daniel Grimes. Now you're informed. So thank you for watching. You want to know anything about the Don Lemon Show? Go to donlemon.com. Donlemon.com. Also, here's what you should say. Here's what I'm being told by my trusty team. Don, the careers page is officially live on your page. So please plug it. Okay. So this is where I'm going to plug it. Okay, guys, hang on. Don't go anywhere if you're in the chat, if you're watching. Go to donlemon.com, Andy. If you put donlemon.com up, of course, the first thing you're going to get is DL and DL, and you click on that, you can figure out how to do that. But also, Andy, you may have to refresh. Go here because we are growing. I don't know if you can do it, but anyways, if you refresh the page, are you refreshing, Andy? No.
It's at the bottom here.
There it is, at the bottom. Okay, so at the bottom, I see at the bottom at the left, it says Home, Contact, Careers. We are growing here at the Don Lemon Show. So go check out careers, and if you are qualified, you got to click off the deal. For any of these positions, send us a resume or you can click here. Does this take them right to the email? Yeah, careers@donlemon.com. So senior producer, we need an associate producer, an editorial and production resident internships for the fall of 2026. Okay? So go on to donlemon.com, click on careers, and then if you are qualified for this, we'd love to have you here at the Don Lemon Show. We are growing, and we are very happy about that, and it's all because of you. So we're putting this out to our community because maybe there's someone who helped us to build this community or who's in the community who may be right for a position here at the Don Lemon Show or the Lemon Media Network, okay? So donlemon.com, click on careers. It's at the bottom left of the page, all right? And there you go. Check it out. And then back up because I want you guys to also help. See right here, there is, go to, the first one is the arrow or the play button. That's our YouTube. You can become a subscriber and a member. If you're already a member, you can gift memberships, okay? So make sure you hit the like and the subscribe, and also check out our Lucky Lemon 7 newsletter over on the Substack. Go and sign up for that to also support and to get information, to be informed, okay? So there you go. We're gonna have right now, speaking of memberships, we have a private membership stream that's happening right after this. If you are of that tier of membership, you will be automatically redirected to it, and you just click on that and you come right in, okay? So there you go. I don't even know if you have to click. I think it just redirects you, okay? So be informed without being inundated, all right? Thank you for supporting us. Until I see you back here tomorrow morning. Look at Barkley. Hi, Barkley. Hi, Barkley. Let's see. Hold on one second. Let's check out Barkley. Could you go to the other camera, please, Andy? We're going to go check out the dogs. They're over there. They're over there. Let's see. There they are. Right. Hi, boys. There's Barkley hanging out on the couch over on the news lounge. Hi, Barks. What are you doing? And then we got Boomer, who's over there as well. Let me move him over, a little Boomer, so we can get Boomer in there. There he is. We got the Booms and the Barks over in the news lounge. Okay, we're going to go to our private stream, and then we're going to feed the pups, the pooches, because they're ready to eat. All right? So be informed without being inundated until I see you back here tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time here on the Don Lemon Show on the Don Lemon Channel. Turn the TV off. Thanks for watching, everybody. I appreciate you. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. We're live weekdays at 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern with new content at 2 p.m. Eastern, sometimes at 8 p.m. So follow the Don Lemon Show wherever you are. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, Substack, Spotify, iHeart Radio, Apple Podcasts. We are everywhere, and we're there every day. And if you want a little more, join the Lemon community. Exclusive posts, behind the scenes, live chats. Just hit join or check the channel pages. All right, I'll see you next time.